First, they came for the Muslims. Now they're coming for the Christians. So Christian organizations are directly under threat because of this, because a lot of Christian funding comes from uh, foreign lands like Europe, like America, like Argentina, Brazil, like the church, the Vatican sends them money for um, projects in India. Like, yes, they are also projects in India to popularize Christianity, but they are also upliftment projects. So we have to keep the duality in mind when we're talking about them. This is not Mother Teresa shit, by the way. Mother Teresa shit is very different. We don't give shit about Mother Teresa in these quarters, at least. Having said that, FCRA law is generally made to oppress the already oppressed minorities. Let's begin. Let's jump in directly. I do not want to waste much time not discussing this. FCRA law is horrendous.
The FCRA bill, then we will show them what is our attitude.
The new bill, the amendment bill, introduces a concept of cessation of the certificate.
Guys, can you hear this properly? I think the volume is too low.
ये नौटंकी कर रहे हैं.
He's saying they are doing drama inside and outside, protests everywhere. The reason to quiet much better. Thank you. Yeah. Also, yeah, the fuck Mother Teresa. All my homies hate Mother Teresa. Thank you. So the thing is, the issue with the FCRA specifically here, and there's something that's going to be spoken about, is that if the mechanism operates in a very simple way, if you as an organization loses your license, the government has full rights to take over any capital, any land, any material thing that you own or have bought or gained through the organization. That is the basis and the evil of the FCRA law. You are basically renting everything from the government as long as your iCard or like the validity of your group is still present in the eyes of the government. They can possess, in this scenario, repossess anything. First of all of this shit is not bought by the government for you. It is technically not, and you have to buy it yourself. But the government just has the power to take it whenever the government likes. It is an extremely authoritarian law. It is extremely arbitrary for the government to decide what organizations are legal and not legal. It is completely on them. They can just decide tomorrow that, for example, RSS is not an organization and take over all of their land and funding and everything. It can just directly decide any organization that is helping people, and RSS does not help people. Let me be very clear about that. Is illegal. Just out of the blue.
ये भीतर में नौटंकी, बाहर में नौटंकी, प्रदर्शन, ये क्या है? लोकतंत्र यही है.
That's a fear expressed by many of the minority groups. 16B kind of paints a scenario where the foreign funding which was received earlier by organizations, charity organizations or NGOs, the institutions that they have built could go, it is called the retrospective clause, could go to this designated authority.
We have been bent against the FCRA.
That's John Britas. I would like to keep saying that John Britas is a fucking amazing person overall. Like, yes, this is a John Britas glaze. I have never seen someone work as much as John Britas does.
Because this is
Chris Sanghi still gonna Chris Sanghi. Christian Sanghis. Christian Sanghis are people who have a very Sanghi fascist mentality. Very similar to Sanghis. Basically a fascist mentality which is shared between all right-wing groups. We spoke about them before when we were talking about this interview that this church leader, the leader of a church, father or some like cardinal, someone was giving to Karan Thapar, and he was basically saying was like, look, we are not Muslims. Why are they harassing us like we are Muslims? Kind of a thing. Church Sangi, Christian Sangi, Chris Sangi, Chrisangis.
This is pitched against the minorities, civil organizations, NGOs, and many voluntary associations which are doing great service to poor and marginalized section.
So the government will have to convince both the opposition and the religious minority groups for ensuring passage of the bill.
So this battle, or whatever they're calling, is not really something focused on right now. The government has technical majority, so they can just bulldoze it. Everyone is busy with CJP shit. Everyone is busy with student protests, and this is kind of going under the radar because of this.
Mizoram Chief Minister Laldu Oma met Union Home Minister Amit.
Never forget where the term love jihad came from. I actually do not know where the term love jihad came from.
Shah on Thursday to raise concerns over the proposed FCRA Amendment Bill 2026. After the meeting, Laldu Oma said Shah assured him that the bill's controversial retrospective provision would be dropped.
That assurance was given to us, and the rest of the points will be given a Paraguay's comment by him.
But the debate is far from over. Why has this bill triggered such strong opposition? What are the key changes being proposed, and why do critics believe they could have far-reaching consequences? We spoke to Manoj CG, Chief of the National Political Bureau at the Indian Express, who breaks down the bill, its key provisions and the concerns surrounding it.
The Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill, which the government had tabled during the last session, and which the government wants to get it passed in Parliament in this monsoon session, is staunchly opposed by the opposition parties, especially the Congress. There are many reasons for that. The new bill, the amendment bill, introduces a concept of cessation of the certificate. Certificate means the certificate for getting foreign funding for NGOs or charity organizations like that. So in this case, the government has inserted a section called 14B after 14A, which says if the certificate for foreign contribution is deemed to have ceased, that is, if the organization concerned has not applied for renewal, or the government has cancelled the certificate, or the license has lapsed. After all these three situations, the bill says it is cessation of the foreign contribution license. After that comes two other provisions, 16A and 16B. So 16A basically says, introduces a concept called designated authority. After cessation of the certificate for foreign contribution, the amendment bill says any having received this foreign funding, and if the charity organization, if the NGO has constructed something, all the assets will vest with the designated authority till the NGO or the charity organization gets a fresh license. And 16B, that's a fear expressed by many of the minority groups. 16B kind of paints a scenario where the foreign funding which was received earlier by organizations, charity organizations or NGOs, the institutions that they have built could go, it is called the retrospective clause, could go to the designated authority. To put it simply, if an organization had built a school.
A member of the Catholic Church who took a love jihad case to court, that's a Kerala High Court case over this, if I remember. Oh, I had no idea about that. I thought this was a Hindu Sangi thing. I didn't think it was a Krai Sangi.
it had an FCRA license, it was receiving foreign funding, but at some point of time, that particular organization decided to
I understand. I understand. I didn't know it came from there. I thought this was just a Sangi thing. I didn't realize this came from Christian community.
stop, receiving foreign funding. So it did not appear. It did not.
More so, casteism doesn't go away just because they converted to another religion. Yeah, absolutely. I kind of just term it all under being an asshole. I understand it diminishes a lot, but we still have to be like, oh, but there's a lot of different subsectors here. Like, okay, they are being casteist, racist, sexist, Islamophobic, all of that sort. So I'm just like, okay, just being an asshole. Just saving words at this point a little bit.
Approached the government for renewing the FCRA license. So the license lapsed. Now, the fear among some of the groups, or what the opposition says, is that in that case, if that school which received foreign funding earlier and that organization doesn't receive foreign funding now, can that school go to go to this designate authority? As the rule says, it can be vested with the designate authority, since that organization doesn't have an FCRA license now, but it had received funding in the past, and the school was built fully or partly using that foreign funding. So that is what the retrospective clause is all about. So all these three provisions, 14B and 16A and 16B, put together is what the opposition is saying is an attempt by the government. It's an accusation, it's an attempt by the government to control, to tighten its grip on NGOs and charity organizations.
The Love Jihad conspiracy was spread through some very conservative churches first. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks. Like India is a country where higher minority will beat on a lower minority in terms of social capital that comes from the Hindu community. It is Jesus. This is class. This is literally just class trying to gain class capital, or in India, caste capital. Islamophobia is the common sense here. I wouldn't use the word sense. I would say common factor, just to be very clear.
In the last few years, the government has monitored rather strictly, very closely, some of these FCRA licenses. I mean, they've cancelled many, but many of the organizations still continue to get foreign funding using the FCRA license. The issue is that this bill talks about a designated authority. It talks about cessation of license, in the sense, if the government today cancels the license of a particular NGO, which
I mean, how people think of Muslims normally. Yes, no. I agree with you. I understood what you meant. It just doesn't. The sentence structure comes off a little bit off. Let's just say.
which may be working in any field, and if it has built an institution or it has got assets, movable or immovable, uh, procured or built using fully or partly foreign funds, what can happen to that institution? Once the license is cancelled, or once the license expires and not renewed, and once the license is denied, the application for the license is denied, 16A and 16B, if it's read together, that has created this fear that if the government cancels the license, or if the license is expired, there is no renewal, and or the application is denied, then the designated authority, that process kicks in, and uh, the designated authority can take possession of that particular institution, which was built using foreign funds. Now it also says if it's a place of worship, the character of that place of worship should not change. If it's a temple or a church or a mosque built using foreign funds, but now that institution, that NGO, that charity, or any institution for that matter, which had received foreign funds, which built that place of worship, but now doesn't have an FCRA license, because of these three conditions, whether there was no renewal of the application, or the application for renewal of license was denied, or it was cancelled. Then if that place,
By the way, this is completely arbitrary. This is completely arbitrary. They can cancel that license. They do not need to give you a reason why they are canceling the license. They do not need to give you a reason why they're canceling a license. The government does it directly on their own command. They can just cancel an organization's license just because they didn't reshare a tweet by Modi.
of worship is vested in the designated authority, the bill stipulates that the nature of that place of worship should remain unchanged. But in other cases, if it's a school or a hospital, what will happen? That is what has created this fear among sections of the minorities and the opposition parties.
It all began. It all began because some of these fucks were so regressive and patriarchal that young Christian women started converting, eloping, and marrying outside the religion. They're basically having their own great replacement theory, and Muslims being the easiest side entered. Oh shit! Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I get it. So it's the same thing with the Hindus. Same shit with Hindus. Like, come on. And there's like so fucking like there's a misogyny also involved with this because they're perfectly fine with their sons marrying outside the religion, never the women. Hello, bro. Long time no see. Yes, Yakman. Long time no see. How have you been? How's your education going? How is your study for NEET going?
Most of the opposition parties, especially the Congress and the left, and to a large extent the Trinamool Congress, are vehemently against these provisions, which they say give the government huge powers to take over, assets and institutions built by minority groups. Remember, Congress and the left, particularly, are the main parties in Kerala, where a large number of Christian missionaries have constructed schools, colleges, hospitals over the years, and then the same situation is there in the northeast, where the Christian
Hey, Pirate Luffy, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? It's been good. The studies have been fine. I think you'll be fine. What Muslims are more patriarchal? Why would anyone want to convert to them? Dude, no one is a monolith. You do realize that. No one is a monolith. Also,
NGO
love jihad doesn't mean that they are converting. They just means they just want to marry someone who is Muslim or happens to be Muslim. So it doesn't really matter, like if you're converting or not converting. Like growing up, you know what my father once told me and why he's a Sanghi? He said he's a Sanghi because he doesn't want his grandchildren to be Muslims. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? Why the fuck? First of all, why the fuck are you telling me that? Second of all, who the fuck cares? But those are words of my father. So maintaining a patriarchal structure, keeping wealth within their families. Yes.
those, especially the Christian missionaries, have a huge influence. So it's primarily the Congress and the left who are
I still don't understand what even is love jihad. It sounds like bullshit. The RSS is locked in. Man, yeah, I know. Like my father is a fucking RSS Sanghi, like completely RSS Sanghi. Like you can't differentiate him, his talking points from Mohan Bhagwat's, even if he doesn't really understand any of them. He's also very stupid. Love jihad is the concept, and like, okay, listen, love jihad is not just a concept within the Hindu community. It's also in the Christian, also in the American white person community. But over there, it's about like, oh, the blacks are stealing or the browns are stealing women. So the thing is, it really doesn't matter if who the person in front of them is, as long as the person is from either a lower caste or a different religion, they will call it love jihad. Do you think these women do you think they are just hopping onto a even more conservative and patriarchal structure? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, David, dude, be serious. Because it is bullshit. Yes, it's absolutely bullshit. Love jihad as a concept is absolutely bullshit. Love who you want, who gives a shit. See, that's where this whole idea like love jihad, conversion, all of this comes from. Like the entire Kerala story or whatever that movie was is based on the concept of love jihad.
opposing these changes. And the India bloc, in that sense, is together. The other parties in the bloc.
It's not even a conspiracy. No. It's not a conspiracy theory. It is a well-known fascist talking point of outgrouping an entire section of the community so you can demonize them as saying they're taking away your women. Women, through patriarchy and misogyny, have been treated as gifts, have been treated as monuments of praise, of admiration, but at the end of that, monuments, a possession. Yeah, and coming to the point, women having no agency. And easiest way to tell someone that you are under threat, especially if the person is a patriarchal fuckwit, is to be like, look, they are taking your women because these women are like, you own these women, were promised to you or whatever, all of that bullshit. And through that, they get them to oppress not only their women through shit like conservative policies of who can you go out with, how should you dress, who should you dress in front of, who should you sleep with, all of that fucking shit. And then othering the person who who the woman is in love with, or who the woman wants to be with, or just friends with. They call love jihad to friendships. Could you share the link to the vid? What, this vid? Yes, I can. My feed is filled with pro FCRA 2.0 bill content and how Amit Shah stopped foreign funding because it brought instability. And some says, bro, these send some of them. Let's talk about some of them as well. Here. Send the links here. Send the links here. Let's talk about them as well.
Also support, the Congress and the left and the Trinamool on this aspect. Most of the opposition parties, especially the Congress and the left, and to a large extent the Trinamool Congress, are vehemently against these provisions, which they say give the government huge powers to take over, assets and institutions built by minority.
Dude, I just sent you that. Why are you resending it to me?
Groups. Remember, Congress and the left, particularly, are the main parties in Kerala, where a large number of Christian missionaries have constructed schools, colleges, hospitals over the years, and then the same situation is there in the northeast, where the Christian NGOs,
Just being a mod. Okay. I did not know this was part of the job. I just figured like, okay.
especially the Christian missionaries have a huge influence. So it's primarily the Congress and the left who are opposing these changes, and the India bloc, in that sense, is together. The other parties in the bloc also support, the Congress and the left and the Trinamool on this aspect. So the government will have to convince both the opposition and the religious minority groups for ensuring passage of the bill.
So the thing is, they are kind of railroading this again. They're saying like, oh, no, you have to convince these people, you have to convince that people. I don't really think that's true because they are railroading this again. They are literally railroading this. Can't really help. They have the numbers, sadly. At least in Kerala, conservative Muslims used to be almost exclusively a privileged caste class thing until more recently because of the rise of Wahhabism, which itself is a reaction to Hindutva fascism and rising Islamophobia. I'm not sure if like that's a good thing. Like conservative Muslims being almost privileged caste class doesn't mean that there weren't subclasses within those conservative Muslim spheres. India has a caste problem at in every religion that exists within India. It is not like just Muslims. All of the Muslims are for higher strata within Kerala, so there are no caste levels. There are. Is that extreme or shit? I have never heard of what they do exactly. Wahhabism is this idea that okay, listen, after the death of a prophet, Wahhab, okay, listen, I literally forgot what it was. Give me 1 second. Let me just quickly. Wahhabism isn't a reaction to fascism. It is promoted by the CIA and Saudi. I no, it is an old shit, right? It is really old. It's a Sufi revisionism as far as this. The revivalist movement within Sunni Islam after 18th century Hanafi scholar Muhammad bin Wahhab. Yeah, that's Al Wahhab. It was, yeah, I don't think it is like CIA. I think this is an existent policy that has shown itself as an extremist policy within the region. And extremism is always a reactionary movement to gain power. So that's what I feel, at least, with respect to this. Like, hey, yeah, it came in. Obviously, it came in. Kerala Muslims, I mean, not Wahhabism itself. Ah, okay, okay. Theological, it's similar to Protestantism. Yes. Protestantism also was a reaction to Catholicism and for the British specifically to gain more control over what it means to be a Catholic. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then it moved to America to the point where Catholics were hunted down, like literally hunted down. It was such a big thing for like Biden to be the president because he's a Catholic. It was a reactionary movement during colonialism. Yes, sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes, it was, but it is a movement that is born out of fascism. There's like right-wing fascist ideology. Like protect your women, protect your everything kind of an ideology. You can like there are movements that have come out of colonialism that are essentially left wing and open. Like Ambedkarism is an example of it. Ambedkarism is not a right wing movement, though sometimes it may feel like it is not. Anyway, maybe this makes sense to you, maybe this doesn't. I still don't think it may be promoted by the CIA and Saudi government within the region, but they're using Wahhabism, not really creators of them. That's the only difference I would make, because a lot of times CIA does create shit like this. Does weaponize against communism by no, I completely agree with that. CIA does weaponize a lot of these semi-centrist right-wing movements. The issue I'm gonna put forth is that a lot of times CIA also creates movements that end up taking over the region. RSS kind of being one of them, sort of. Zionism kind of being one of them. Like not CIA specifically, but America. Like America, Germany, and UK gave birth to Zionism. At least help it rise. Exposure of Gulf states has a lot to do with it. Yes, not necessarily. There is progressive elements to it. When it started, there's a reason so many people joined the movement. You can argue that about like even Sanghism. You can argue that about like Manusmriti. You can argue that about even the RSS. We do not look at, oh, it has some progressive elements. It's either progressive or it's not. You can't be like, no, you're getting like 10% of progressiveness here. Just forget about everything bullshit that is next to it. That's it. That's all there is to it. You can't concede on being progressive. You can't concede on these little points here and there. These are not points like you are not conceding on like, okay, when do you want the revolution? Tomorrow or day after or like 3 days later. That is not the concessions you're making. When you talk about like Wahhabism, your concessions you're making it, are you like, you have to be okay with a little bit of oppression on women. You have to be okay with a little bit of oppression on the young or the minorities. And then you can accept like little bit of progressiveness in the totality. Like you can still claim like the RSS ideology or RSS movement is very pro LGBTQ because they don't talk about like we are going to beat them on the streets. Like as long as the trans community is sidelined to this corner of the world, we are completely fine with it. As long as gays and lesbians aren't outwardly gay and lesbian, we are perfectly fine with it. Those are still inklings of progressive thought, even if they are not inklings of progressive thought. That does not mean you accept RSS. You can claim like no, RSS is like really popular among the masses because it has inklings of progressiveness within it, which is just not true. It's not a one-to-one comparison. It started in Najd in the Arabian Peninsula, sure. Anyway, we have to get back to that point. I agree it's horrendous now. Yeah, it is absolutely horrendous now. Let's talk about what the people are talking about on the streets. These are the streets for people who do not know. This is Instagram. Instagram be the streets of the current government because they are trying to railroad everyone on the current government. Why do I have messages on Instagram that I don't want to check? Okay, let's check. Can I replay this? Go to post. What, the Saudi government gets the credit for it? Yes, this is not a good approach. IMO history helps. Yes. There was this option to like go back to the start of shit.
Kavadia.
Yeah. What the fuck was that? Like seriously, what the fuck was that? I thought this was going to be like a chat thing. At present, approximately 16,000 NGOs received around 22,000 crore annually. Like okay, and these 16,000 NGOs still pale in comparison to PM Care funds, by the way. Having said that, that's unironically a good thing because the funding is coming to India. FCRA law basically decimates it. Shri Amit Darpok Shah. That's it? Okay, that's it. Read the video description. Okay, what is the video description? Jesus, it's going to be a pain in the ass to read the video description. If I just make this. Okay, go to post. Go to post. Alpha geopolitics. Kuch bhi. The Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill 2026 intended to strengthen oversight of organizations receiving foreign funding. During the bill's introduction, the government stated that one of its objectives was to prevent misuse of foreign funds, including for forced religious conversions. Like, fuck off. Like, what the fuck is this? People do believe that shit, right? What? India has millions of registered non-profit organizations like the RSS, like VHP, under different legal frameworks. RSS, VHP, trust societies, RSS, but only a small fraction are registered under FCRA and are legally permitted to receive foreign contributions. Unlike the RSS, which is not a registered organization, hopefully they clamp down on this. According to the Ministry of Home Affairs, by mid 2026, only 28% of all organizations had ever held FCRA registration remained active, with 15,000 registrations cancelled or allowed to lapse over the years for reasons including non-compliance with the law. Non-compliance with the law, which means not resharing Modi posts, not having a Modi picture right on their website. The Indian government has stated some organizations have allegedly misused foreign funds to force and induce based religious convergence, like the RSS, and cited as one of the reasons to tighten the FCRA law. Let us look at the fucking RSS, please. They do course conversions. However, there is no official evidence showing that all of or most FCRA funding NGOs are involved in mass conversions. He had to do this because he knows he's fucking lying. Many FCRA organizations work in areas such as education, disaster relief, except for the RSS. Also, what like Buddhism may have had noble origins, but it's irrelevant to the genocides committed by certain Buddhists. Yeah, I know. Dude, Buddhists are extremely misogynists as well. Like, just look at Tibetan fucking Buddhists. Like, come on. Oh, dude, like 189,000 people consider Amit Shah to be Chanakya. See him as a... What the fuck? Yeah, dude, Chanakya as fuck. Couldn't even manage a student protest right in front of him. Started pissing himself the moment like there was any pushback. And now is trying to take over Instagram and clamp down on it. Like, come on, such big fucking Chanakya. Like, fuck this. Okay, I need to try this. Twitch, clip that. Does this work? Hello, Diksha. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Did Twitch clip that? Because I asked it to clip that. Speaking of Chanakya, where is Laser Eyes these days? Laser Eyes is currently planning our dear Prime Minister's next Boinka Boinka visit to China, apparently. Because that's his job. Not kidding. He used to organize them when he was the Gujarat minister. Like our Modi was CM of Gujarat. He and Harpreet Singh Puri used to organize his Boinka Boinka visits to China, where apparently he used to do worse shit than Epstein. This is not me saying. This is Subramaniam Swamy saying. And I trust Subramaniam Swamy more than I trust Jai Shankar.